Okay. I think I finally managed to get away from the cat. No, he's adorable, but he's being a complete menace at the moment because he wants company, and I'm trying to record a video. So sorry about that. I've only got 11 minutes left on my cat. Oh, for goodness sakes, right, okay. Well, I'm going to get on with this then. So, Sims for pack ratings. Now, people are asking for a kind of rankings video. Now, I tend to steer away from this. I tend to go with a more kind of objective, if that's possible, kind of view of packs, because, you know, everyone's, the way everyone plays the game is different, and therefore what one person loves another person won't. And so I just think it's more useful to look at packs overall. So I've done a couple of videos just giving information on them, keeping sort of personal opinions out of it, but that is kind of what this video is actually about as well, but there's a little bit more subjectivity in it. So obviously this was done, as you can see, I did this on the 5th of January, and it's now the 19th, so I'm going to have to try and remember why I put things in particular categories. Now, this ranking thing, like amazing, really good, I don't know, I just copied this off some Reddit post, I think. So, yeah. Thinking about it, I think is a little bit of it's a bit odd, because I'd say that there's quite a jump between it's okay and really good. I thought after I'd done it, like, yeah, I would have actually put like a good in there, but it was a bit late once I'd done it, so never mind. You get the picture. Okay, so, yeah, so my initial thoughts, I just kind of, okay, this was just done off the top of my head, so I'm not really going to talk about this very much, why I put things in this. It was just done, as I say, just, okay, what would I think? Bung them in. Okay, moving on. But what I then did was, I then went through breaking down a lot of different features of each pack. And I tried to be quite objective about this, although obviously there is always going to be some subjectivity in it, but a lot of things which I don't necessarily like, but I think are good, I ranked them as such. So to start off with, I did Cass, so that's all your clothes, hair, etc. that you get. So, obviously, not everyone will agree with these, but... so the only three for me that made it into the amazing category were cats and dogs, vampires, and spooky stuff. Now, I know a lot of people don't like spooky stuff. I personally do, because I love Halloween, and I love decorating for a Halloween party and all of that. But what I also try to think of is not just whether I think the things are good, so to speak, but also how well they kind of fit with the theme of the pack. Now, I think you could definitely argue that why is there a whole pack just dedicated to decorating for a Halloween party? I mean, personally, I'm very glad that it wasn't included with seasons, because I don't have seasons and I want the spooky stuff pack, but I can understand why people say that it should have been in that. I'm not quite sure why it was a pack on its own, but the fact is that it was. And so in terms of, okay, the pack is supposed to be spooky stuff, and it is. And I have to say, I really liked the costumes. Yes, a lot of them were probably something you'd only wear to a Halloween party, but there were also a lot of stuff that I thought went well with spellcasters and vampires, which I really like. So, so yeah, I just do like this. It also, I think it was one of the ones that had more, yeah. See, 37, I'm so sad I literally went through and counted with the items. It's one of the highest in terms of number of items, 37 cast items, which is pretty good. They fitted the theme very well, and I just thought they were very nice. The same with cats and dogs. I couldn't really fault it. When I put things in the amazing category, it was simply because I kind of thought, well, okay, what could this pack do better? And if I couldn't think of anything, then I have to say it's amazing. Cats and dogs obviously adds, well, your cats and dogs. I liked the way you did also get some cast stuff for human Sims as well. That's not that much, of course. In fact, I can give you the stats if you really want to know. Which you probably don't, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So cats and dogs contained 188 cat items, of which 92 were cats and dogs stuff, and 96 were for your human Sims, which I think is pretty good. But yeah, I can't fault it. Vampires, I think, is my absolute top one, actually, because I loved the style of this. Obviously, yes, you got a lot of stuff. 72 items, in fact. But a lot of that was just customising your vampires, but it also had a really nice gothic theme. It was really coherent, really good, but the theme of it, and I just thought it was really, really attractive. So that was very nice. Okay, so I'm not going to go all of these in detail because obviously it will get boring, but as you can see, and pretty much everything made it into the really good or it's okay. In terms of that, generally one of the dividing things was the number of items, which do differ quite a lot, actually, more than you'd kind of expect. So yeah, that was just in kind of terms of overall quality. As I say, just my personal take on it. In terms of the ones that I put in, they're not the best. The reason being, obviously, we had Dine Out. Now, there was nothing particularly wrong with the cat items in Dine Out. The problem was the number of them. There were just 26 of them, which I thought was, a bit lacking. And the same with the Romantic Garden. There were just 19 now. I mean, obviously, I'm not saying, quantity over quality here, but I just felt like there could have been a bit more in that. I mean, okay, Dine Out was geared towards running a restaurant, I get that. So there was a few chefs' outfits and a few waiters' outfits, and that was it. But there could have been more stuff that you could have used in a general sense. And the same with the Romantic Garden. I feel like, well, there's more you could have done with that. You got a few items. Well, I know, okay, the basis of it is building a romantic garden, but don't you wear something in your romantic garden? I mean, come on. You could have had a little bit more in there. So that was my reasoning. And some of these others were, again, I thought they could have done a bit more. Especially some of the ones like... I have my overall reviews from here somewhere. So with Get to Work, there were a lot of cat items, so 206 of them. But a lot of those were just like alien things. There was nothing very unusual, very standout. I mean, a few interesting alien costumes, but yeah, but it was, it was a good mix. Get Together, that was a good mix of everyday stuff, but nothing very interesting overall. What do we have? Cats and dogs, cute clothes. This is just what I scribbled down about it. Cute clothes. Hairstyles quite striking. Okay. Where were we? City living. I really liked the cast for that. The clothing was attracted. Also, something that was really nice about the City Living cast was that it did bring some much needed diversity, which I thought was really nice. On the other hand, okay, that's the wind blowing. On the other hand, should you have to pay to have a few saris and turbans? Not sure about that. I think they should be in the base game. But they were really nice. That was nice to see. So that was good, at least. Get Famous. Yeah, again, the cast was interesting. It did include a bit of variety, lots of stage makeup type effects, like scars and things. There's a lot of scars I noticed going on. Yeah, so it was a very much kind of, I thought, focused on theatrical makeup, that kind of stuff. Now, I mean, that's good in that it adds a bit more variety to your Sims and has a bit of realism to them, but then again, should you be paying for that? But I did think they could have done a bit more with the kind of glam side of it. There was very much the build buy was focused towards that, I felt. So I wasn't quite sure why the cast wasn't. I mean, there wasn't a lot that you could wear to an award ceremony, I'd say. Island Living. Now that was very on point. The theme of that was very good in that it was very much tropical island, clear theme. The mermaid tails were gorgeous, but again I thought they could have done a little bit more with that. Discover University, nice casual everyday wear. Also introduced a good number of hairstyles, new facial piercings, tattoos, again, more stuff to make yourself look a little bit more realistic, which was nice. Eco lifestyle, that had a real hippie theme to the cast, lots of natural colours. Again, more facial piercings, all those kinds of things. I thought so they associate that with students and eco warriors. Interesting. But it was nice. Seasons was heavily themed towards kind of hot, cold gear, and then various costumes and so on. That was nice, I liked it. Snowy Escape, a lot of hairstyles in that one I noticed. Obviously cold weather clothes. A good few toddler hairstyles, which was useful because they are often lacking. Yeah, I like the Snowy Escape ones. One thing about that is I would have liked to see a few more interesting kimono designs, just because it had a very Japanese theme. And I know not everyone in Japan wants to run in a kimono, but it's still something really, interesting and part of traditional culture. And I just thought, kimono designs are so stunning. I just would have liked to see a few more, that's all. Outdoor retreat, what did I think of the cast for that? Well, it's very much rustic camping, lots of boots. Not necessarily something you'd wear outside of going camping, but that was the theme of the pack, so very on point to that. Spa day, very much a casual sports style. Again, yeah, it was okay. It just maybe could have done a bit more with it. Dine out, as I say, was just very lacking. There was just very little of it. Vampires, just really lovely. I really liked it. And everything that you need to dress up a vampire, but also some other stuff that your sim might just wear. Like, there was stuff in it that I would generally wear myself. And I'm not a vampire. Jungle Adventure, that was some nice everyday wear stuff. Nothing particularly striking, but Strangerville, that also had a bit of a hippie vibe going on. That was interesting. It was a bit odd, that one, to be honest. Some like inexplicable cowboy boots in it, and so I wasn't quite sure where that was going. But what the hell, yeah. Realm of Magic, that obviously had some very pretty items. The theme of that seemed to be sort of slightly gothic for women and scruffy for men. I really felt with that one they could have done more with it. I liked it, but I would have just liked to see a bit more. I mean, it didn't even have a witch's hat. Come on. Or a wizard's hat. Like, you get one in spooky stuff, but come on. And you can get some gorgeous, like, CC ones, by the way, but... Parenthood, I thought that had some really nice, like, everyday wear, but what I was really confused about with that was there hardly seemed to be anything for kids. Like, kid stuff is really lacking, and surely that is the pack to put it in, and it just didn't seem to be that much of it, which I thought was weird. Journey to Patio, well, very grungy style, and yeah, some Star Wars masks, which is great for dressing up and going to, like, Comic-Con, if you have city living, whatever they call it. Geek-Con, is it? Well, yeah, that thing. But, yeah. Okay, for the stuff packs, I felt like I had to mark them a little bit more harshly as well, because basically, for the majority of them, what you get is stuff. So I expect that stuff to be damn good, and I expect there to be quite a lot of it, because that's all you're getting. So, a luxury party, you can see I was really harsh on that when I did my, like, initial opinion, simply because my memory of it was that it was a stuff pack, but it hardly contained any stuff. When I looked at it again, I was surprised, actually. It had 41 cast items, and I thought, oh, was I just imagining they didn't have anything? But then I looked at it again. 7 of those were hairstyles, 7 were different kinds of eyeshadow, and 2 were different kinds of lipstick. Not very interesting. I did like the dresses. They were nice. So overall, I had to say the cast was okay. It was good. But, yeah. So, Perfect Patio, kind of summery swimwear, but there were only 12 items in it, Yeah, come to think of it. I don't know why I didn't put that in not the best for it. I don't know, maybe there was a reason. Maybe I just liked it. Cool kitchen stuff, couple of kitchen-y items, bit of everyday wear. Yeah. Spooky stuff, I did like that. Worked well with the occult packs, clearly on theme. Movie hangout with some nice party-ish type pieces. Boho chic apparently was also meant to be the thing of it. Okay. Romantic garden, again, it was nice but just wasn't there. So I'm scrolling down through these thinking what the hell is, because I've written these with these initials, KR, right, that's kids room. A few hairstyles. Again, yeah, that had some cute clothing in. It was very heavy on t-shirts. I felt, it was mostly t-shirts, which were all kind of, redesigns of the same thing. I thought, come on, we could have done a little bit more than that. Backyard stuff, again, a summer vibe. Quite nice everyday wear. What the hell is VG? Oh, Vintage Glamour. Yeah, so Vintage Glamour, again, I really liked what they did, but I just thought, there's just not very much of it. And I thought, vintage is a bit of a vague term. We could have done a few different things from a few different eras. Come on, make it look more interesting. Bowling night, yeah, stuff to go bowling in. That's actually what I've written. I wasn't that enamoured. Toddler Staff, okay, gives you 5 new hairstyles and then some cute outfits, but again, 29 items. Considering how little there is for toddlers in the game, I wasn't that impressed, because I just felt like, well, you've ignored these for so long, you finally give them their own stuff back, and that's it. My first pet, I don't know, people go really down on this back. Well, again, there was a bunch of cat and dog outfits. I just think it's stupid putting cats and dogs in outfits, and why the hell was that not in cats and dogs? So I wasn't very impressed with that, but I did like some of the cats that you did get. The hamster costume was quite funny, but again, there wasn't a great deal. Could maybe have done a little bit more. Nifty Knitting. I love the raccoon socks. Oh yeah, I've forgotten about that. That's what I've written here. Love raccoon socks. Okay, they are nice. I mean, a lot of the things you get in Nifty Knitting are stuff that you then knit yourself. So it's a little bit false. There's like 38 items, which is, I think, more than any other stuff pack. But oh no, apart from Luxury Party, actually, that's 41. But a lot of that's makeup. Anyway, but it's a little bit, yeah. Some of that you do have to knit in order to be able to get, but nonetheless, it was quite nice. I did like it, and again, it was very on theme. Now, fitness stuff, again, fitness themed stuff, literally just 17 CAS items. Yeah. To be honest, I just felt like, well, you already get fitness stuff. I don't see that adds a great deal to the base game, to be honest. Laundry day, I thought that was nice enough, everyday wear. But there are only 20 items, and I thought it was a bit bland, to be honest. I know a lot of people love laundry day, so, I'm sorry if I offend people, but, this is just my opinion. I just wasn't really impressed. This, right, is it Moschino? I'm assuming it's Italian, so I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it. But it just sounds too much like mosquito. It sounds unpleasant. Well, anyway, this Moschino pack, which I have never heard of. Apparently, it's a clothing brand in America. Well, that's nice. But considering, as I understand it, it's meant to be kind of like high fashion brand or something. That's my understanding. And I sort of looked at the clothes and, well, yeah, they're nice, but I didn't see anything. I thought, oh, wow, that's lovely. Which I thought, as that's kind of the point of it, not quite sure what. Yeah. Tiny Living. That had some nice everyday wear. A bunch of very short hairstyles, which I thought was funny. So, that's like the idea, it's tiny, so even your hair has to be tiny. But again, there was nothing that I thought, oh, wow, that's, it was alright. So, moving on to the build buy. What's got my amazing vote for that? Well, again, look at that, vampires. Yeah, I know. Vampires and spooky stuff again. Well, I couldn't really fault them. And Nifty Knitting got up on that one, simply because I do have issues with Nifty Knitting as a pack, simply because in the build buy it included all sorts of other craft stuff, which you can't do in the pack, and that did annoy me, because I think it would have been so much better if you could do something other than knitting. maybe they just made it into a game bag and had lots of hobbies in it. That would have been really nice. But I do really like the build by stuff. I really like the craft cupboard and stuff because it actually looks like my real craft cupboard at home. And because you can then obviously make a lot of other things yourself as well. I don't know why the hell anyone would have a knitted mailbox cover. But then, I mean, we don't tend to have mailboxes in this country, so I don't know. But anyway. So I'm just going to whiz through my critiques for each one. So, get to work, what did I say? That had, again, it had a lot of items. Get to work had, so yeah, 264 build by items. Yeah, where was that sad? I went through and I counted each one. Very retail themed, obviously. The reason I said this was okay was because, okay, I get it's the point of the bag, but there was very little that I felt that you would put in your house. You know what I mean? So, beyond building a retail store, would you use the stuff? I mean, having said that, when you do the 100 Baby Challenge, you cannot live without that refrigerated cabinet, but that's not the point. So, get together. That had a lot of building stuff, very much. If you look at the world of Windenburg, you know, that's the style of it. And it's nice, but the reason I wasn't so enamoured with this is because it's almost all building stuff. Well, personally, I don't do a lot of building. Obviously, for people who do, I think it added a lot for them. But there was very little furniture and decor in this pack. So it just felt like, well, okay, that's nice if you build a lot of houses, but what if you don't? You know, okay for everyone here. Cats and dogs. That, yeah, decent amount of decor, which was, you know, interesting. Obviously, there was a lot of pet items. There was a very much a sort of woody country thing, which I liked about this. City living. Okay, there was a lot of kind of street furniture, kiosks, that kind of thing. But once you got past that, there was homeware with a kind of, you know, quite attractive modern style. Also, one standout was a toilet that you can make friends with if you got very lonely, which I presume happens if you live in a city apartment. I mean, personally, I found it hard to like this because city living, the clue's in the name, it's not my thing. I am a country gal. The closest I've ever come to living in a city is when I spent a year in Cardiff to do my masters, and that is the biggest city I could cope with living in, which I think has a population of, what is it, 400,000 people? Yeah, that's so many, it terrifies me. So I didn't like the style of this, but it was okay. I'm trying to be like objective, but so Get Famous, as I said, Build By I thought was much stronger than the cast because I felt like there was a lot of glam stuff for Get Famous, a lot of kind of glam decor. Obviously there's all the film stuff as well, and also more like I like to see some interactive objects, you know, some things that are not just something you stick there, that obviously there's more stuff that you can do with. That sentence went wrong. Do stuff with, which is nice. But I just felt like the theme of the cast and the Build By didn't match each other very well. The Build By was all about, you know, building a glamorous lifestyle for your sim, but then what did they wear? That's just my impression. Island living. Okay, yeah. I thought that, again, the theme, perfectly on point, so to speak. That these are in a funny order, the logos, because sometimes I got confused when I was copy and pasting them and I missed them out, so I had to add them on the end, which is why sometimes they're tacked on in a funny way. Island living should be with the other expansion packs, but it isn't. Yeah, so again, I can't really fault it, like, okay, it's perfectly on the theme. The only problem with that is, how often would you use any of the items outside of Sulani? Some of the tropical plants I have just put in my random Sims gardens just because they were pretty, but I feel like most of it, unless you're living in Sulani, you're not going to use, which is maybe an unfair criticism because obviously, well, it is an island living bag, but you know. Discover University, again, it was all very uni-themed, but what I liked about that is there were some things that you would genuinely just use in your home. Like there's like desks and chairs and stuff, which I feel like if your Sims were living in a kind of budget apartment, like you'd definitely use them, so that was nice. Eco lifestyle, again, well, there's a lot of fabricated items in there, just bear that in mind, but again, very eco-themed. I felt they could have pushed that a little bit further. I did have some criticisms about some of these items. Some of the, you know, they felt a little bit, I don't know, like token. Stick a solar panel on your roof for like virtually no money, and no, you're living an eco lifestyle. Wow. Yeah, maybe not. I felt like they could have done a little bit more with that. Seasons. Lots of seasonal decor. Yeah, seasons, I know people love it. And I know if you criticise seasons, people are going to hate you. But I did think it was really good. But one thing about that is I did feel like they could have had a little bit more general stuff. I know, okay, the point is seasons. But there was an awful lot of stuff that was... It was very nice, but it was maybe Christmas decorations. Which is lovely when you're decorating for Christmas. But then you only use it again. Yeah, just mine. That's ridiculous. Snowy Escape. Okay. I liked the sort of the notable Japanese theme. It meant that it was a pleasant aesthetic, and I liked the way that it added a little bit of variety, some stuff that we haven't seen before. That was really good. There was also a lot of snow sports sort of equipment. But yeah, overall, I liked it. Outdoor retreat. There was a lot of stuff in that, you know, I felt overall. Maybe not as many build by. I mean, that was the first pack. The first game pack. I think it may even have been the first pack overall. Again, it was very on the theme, but there were a lot of items that you could also use in a more general kind of way. You can always put a campfire in your garden, what the hell. But yeah, I felt like maybe if they'd done the pack later, they would have put more in, but you know. Spa day. Very themed building a spa. Very white. The only problem with that being, I don't think you'd use a single one of the items outside of building a spa. Dine out. Okay, lots of restaurant stuff, but some of it you could use in your home kitchen. Vampires, very much themed to a gothic mansion. I thought it was really, really well done. I really, really liked vampires. You're probably getting that impression, aren't you? No, but even apart from that, I really, really liked the aesthetic. I thought it was really good. Yeah, it was a bit different, which I really liked. Jungle Adventure. Okay. Lots of plants came with that. Again, one of those I thought maybe they could do a little bit more with. It had a slight sort of South American architecture kind of feel to it, which, again, provided some welcome variety. Strangerville. Bit of general homeware, some electronics. Slightly alien vibe going on to it. It was interesting. And with magic. Attractive. Nice theme. Maybe could have had a bit more variety. That's what I wrote about that. Yeah, I really liked it. I liked the coherent theme. I liked that you could make a kind of whole spellcaster home and it all kind of matched. I just thought a little bit of variety. I felt like there was a lot of wooden items, which are nice, but I would have just liked the option to maybe have some wacky purple or something, you know. They're spellcasters. Parenthood. Okay. What I thought about this was nice homeware, but again, surprisingly little for kids. I just found that weird. I felt like, I know, okay, we have separate kids from Toddler Staff, yeah, but I just felt like what it is about Parenthood is the stuff for the adults, specifically to help them take care of kids. Well, no, not really. So why is there not more stuff for kids? That was my thinking. Journey to Patio, I was really down on this one. The reason being, the build buy stuff, there was quite a lot of it. 133 items, in fact. But it was entirely the aesthetic of a very dirty spaceport. Now, if you want to build a very dirty spaceport, fine. It obviously fitted the theme of the pack. It's what you would get if you go to Patio. Yeah, I get that, but seriously, are you ever going to use a single one of those items in your normal gameplay? I don't think so. I mean, maybe you would. The only other use I could think of it was if you were playing a kind of zombie apocalypse challenge. It would be very useful. But otherwise, I just don't think you would use it, and I don't think it was at all attractive. But I mean, things don't have to be attractive. I get that you might want some kind of beaten up looking thing, which is fine. But would you want a beaten up looking spaceport? That was my opinion. Luxury Party, another one. It got really marked down. The reason being, it contained just 12 items. Just 12. And this was what left the lasting impression on me. of me thinking there's nothing in this pack. It contained a few tables. Special tables that you can put more food on than normal, and I think there was something like a chocolate fountain or something, which is cool, but yeah, that is it. Now, okay, I know luxury party, the clue is in the name, but seriously, how often do you have parties in The Sims? Because they're so annoying to have, so I do not see the point of this pack, to be brutally honest. Okay, Perfect Patio. Had a very SD vibe, does that? It's terrible when you can't read your own notes. I don't actually know what that means. I'll tell you if I remember. Black and white furniture for patios, yeah. So, the problem with Perfect Patio is that it was very much built at the time. Oh, it's so exciting because we finally get hot tubs. Then they released a hot tub in a free update later, which kind of takes away the whole point of it, in my opinion. I didn't really think it had a lot to offer. It was nice, but depends if you want to make a patio, really. Cool kitchen. Nice enough kitchen items. Yeah. I didn't really think this added anything to the base game, quite honestly. Okay, we get a few more things, but as far as I'm aware, what people mostly complained about was the lack of counters, and it didn't really seem to add. There were a few things that just looked the same as the base game, but with different colours. But that's much my opinion. What? Oh yes, spooky stuff. Again, perfectly on theme. Okay, this is to your taste. If you don't like Halloween, you're going to hate this pack, but I just thought, yes, it perfectly fitted with the theme. You may not agree that the theme should have been a thing. Maybe you shouldn't have had a whole pack of just spooky stuff. But we did, and it's there, and I thought it really did what it said. I liked the way you got new wallpapers and stuff, because we never seem to get many of those, so I liked it. Movie hangout. Yeah, we had some quirky, colourful furniture. As I said, apparently the theme was meant to be boho chic. Well, that was very nice. I have no idea what that has to do with watching a movie, but it was attractive. Something a little bit different. Romantic garden. Really nice Victorian garden style. Nice flowers and hedges. Again, I thought there could have been a little bit more, simply because it was so light on the CAS. So if the whole point is building a garden, then we'll have a few more garden things. But, it was okay. Kids' room stuff. That contained quite a lot, actually, of kids' room stuff when I look at it again. I had this in my head that it didn't, but... yeah, pretty things, pretty decor. I did like the fact you get the void critters and the puppet theatre, but I did think it was a little bit light on actual kids' toys. And I thought, this pack is just about kids' room stuff, so have more. Okay, backyard stuff. I thought, nice bright summer colours. I really like the bird feeder, I must say. And something of fun. What the hell does it? Oh, slides. Yeah. It has some cool, water slides and stuff. Which I like it when we get... I like it when we do get something a little bit different, so that was nice. Vintage glamour. Yeah, mainly art deco style furniture. A few build items. Yeah, it was pretty good. Bowling night. Mainly just stuff to decorate your bowling alley. I mean, I get that, okay, that's the point of the pack, but again, a little bit dull. Toddler stuff. I thought my impression of that was it was underwhelming, basically. The toys and decor were nice. I mean, the ball pit, it's nice to have something a little bit different. Although, I mean, we're not going to go into the fact that it, just the, the kind of texture of it and everything is horrible. But, okay, it's nice to have something different. The slides were nice. But then, you get this huge kind of thing. I thought looking at it, oh, it's like a tree house or something. Oh, that's nice. And it turns out, no, it's a doll's house. It's exactly the same as a doll's house in the base game. Yeah. I just felt like, again, toddlers, they have so little. You could have given them more. In terms of the number of items, overall, CAS and Bill buy, toddler stuff was one of the smallest packs. In fact, it's the smallest one, I think. Oh no, fitness stuff only has 50. In toddler stuff, 52. But yeah, it's the second smallest, which I just thought was bad considering how little toddlers get in the base game. They needed more. Okay, my first pet. Again, some more pet stuff. Bit boring. But what I did really like was, okay, obviously you get your pets. I like them. I did think it was a little bit boring that they're all the same. I thought some personality for the pairs would have been nice, because whichever one you get, they behave exactly the same, but I do think that they were quite fun. I also really like the kids' furniture that you get with my first pet. It matches well with what you get with cats and dogs, which again highlights the issue of why the hell was it not in it, but okay, it wasn't, so let's get over it. And I do think it was really, I really like it, and I use it so often, always when I'm doing my kids' rooms. I also really like that coffee table with the fish in it. I just really liked it. Nifty Knitting! Again, well, we said fun, colourful craft feel. I do wish, as I say, that I actually included the crafts that it depicted, but I really liked it. Laundry Day has some nice homeware. Obviously, it has lots of items for doing your laundry. Now, personally, that's not something I want in my game. It's not something I'd want in real life. Fortunately, I don't have to do it, but you know. So I don't want it in my Sims, but if that's what you're into, then it's very nice. It does always something to do. Moschino stuff, right, well, a lot of photography stuff with that, because it included the photography career. There's a few bits of artsy decor, but really, there was not a lot. Okay. Tiny Living. Now, I know a lot of people love the Tiny Living pack, and I mean, I don't personally have this pack, so I think maybe if I played with it, I would like it more, but the reason I wasn't very impressed with that is that I quite liked the build buy items. I thought they were quite nice. But looking at it, I couldn't see anything that was especially tiny. And I thought the whole point of it was that it allowed you to live in tiny spaces. But I was looking at it and I'm thinking, well, I don't get it. I mean, the Murphy beds, they're fun, and I did like them, but they take up the same space as a normal bed, because you can't put anything under them for when you open them, so I'm not really getting that, to be honest. It's a bit like an eco lifestyle, where you get those pointless you know the planters? Oh, it allows you to grow more plants in a space, and I thought, oh, that's cool, and then I looked at them. You can only plant one plant in each, and they take up the space that 2 plants on the ground would have done. So you can plant 2 plants in the space of 2 plants, and that saves you space. How? Yeah. Just not impressed. Okay, so we get on to world evaluation. Now, I just to remind myself, I put like aesthetics, number of lots. Okay, so like the size of it, I did consider as well. So we're trying to consider quality and quantity. So for my amazing ones, okay. So island living. I don't think that's very controversial. I think most people agree the world is pretty lovely. In terms of the aesthetics, it's a decent size. I think it's really, really nice. Cats and dogs. I was kind of surprised. I surprised myself with this one. When I was doing this, obviously I went back into the game and had a look at everything, and I never really play with like Brentwood and Bay, so I kind of thought, I don't know, I wouldn't really like it. But then I looked at it again, and I thought, honestly, what would you fault about this? And I couldn't think of anything. So I put it in amazing. I kind of like the way as well that you had like a cat area, a dog area, and then a kind of mixed one. And yeah, it was just really nice. Get together. Again, Windenburg, I couldn't really fault it. One thing that really was good about this as well, the size of it. It was a really decent size. Really liked it. And I like that it was something a little bit different, because obviously there's generally a very American theme to the existing worlds. So I liked that it had a little bit, people talk about it as a lovely European vibe. I'm not quite sure what that means, but it did look a little bit different. I mean, it's still, yeah, the way that you're all living in separate detached houses and, yeah, anyway, no mind. But moving on, as with the world of Sulani, at least it was something different, and I really like that. Seasons, I am in a massive minority of Sims players, and I do not own seasons because I do not want it in my game. I just don't. I don't want it raining. If I wanted to see rain, I can look out the window. But I had to say amazing for, it's not my thing. I don't like it personally, but I think what they did, obviously, before you get confused, obviously I know Seasons does not have its own world. I'm talking about what they did to update all the existing worlds. And I think, yeah, aesthetically speaking, I think they did a really good job. And I think if that's something you want in your game, I think it's really, really good. So, the ones I put in the really good, obviously, are ones that I thought would have got an amazing except for something. So I've now got to remember what those things were. Oh god. Okay, so Snowy Escape. I loved the aesthetics of this. I really did. I did think, as with so many worlds, it's a little bit small, and I would have liked to see a little bit more of it, but yeah, okay. I really like the way you got the contrast of this going up to the snow, and obviously, as I say, I'm one of those few people, I don't have seasons, but you get kind of what you'd get with seasons, not exactly, but you get like the temperature and stuff and when you go up to the snowy bit, and I really like the way that they did include that, because I was a bit confused how that was going to work. It is also a little bit weird, because of course, because you don't have seasons, it means that if your Sims do go off into the snow wearing a bathing costume, it's fine, because nothing happens to them. They don't actually feel the cold, which is a little bit weird, but you know, that's my fault for not having seasons. I don't mind that. I don't want it, so it's fine. But the reason I marked down Snowy Escape a little bit is simply because there were a few places on it where, and Plumber actually did a lovely video about this, which was what made me think of it, like, oh god, yeah, she's right. Simply that there are quite a few areas of this. You go to a sort of town area and you think, oh, that's nice, there's all these little buildings, and they're not really there, they're fake. And so I think it's the bit down by the train station, it kind of just doesn't exist. There's nothing there. Obviously you can't go in the train station, but you can't really do anything. Like, there's hardly any, there's a couple of buildings. And, you know, as I say in the Plumber video, she did say, well, couldn't we have just had some rabbit holes? You know, just something. Just not all these empty shells. So that was what my thinking was. I really liked the world. I thought it was really, really good. I just could have done with just a little bit more. Okay, so the Barchester world with Discover University. Well, okay. I feel like I was maybe being a little bit harsh with some of these, because I was you try to evaluate them within their own theme. Of course, the university was, it's gonna be for university, isn't it? The only reason I didn't put it, sorry, my screen just went off. The only reason I didn't put it in amazing was because I've never sent my Sims to live in this world, and I just don't see myself doing so. It's where you go to university, but unless Sim is going to university, they're not going to live in this world, and I just feel like you don't use it for that. And I kind of, at first, I put it in the amazing bit, because I was like, well, that's fine, because that's what it's for. But then I thought about it again, I was like, well, yeah, but in real life, universities, I mean, they're in cities, right? And people live in those cities, therefore, so, yeah, I don't know. I just felt like, okay, so maybe we could have had some other lots where maybe there were some people, like, there were some students, and then some graduate, like, students, and then, like, yeah, you know, graduates, those things. And then maybe it's like there's some people who really hate students who live there as well, and would have just made it a bit more fun. That was my thinking. Okay, so the world of, what's it called? Moschino. That is what it's called, isn't it? It is. So, okay, so why did I put that in really good? Okay, well, okay, so probably it was me being harsh. As I say, to me, I look at that world and it literally gives me the shudders. The idea of this sprawling, horrible city. So I think I just couldn't bring myself to put it in the amazing category. Okay. In all honesty, I think I was maybe being a little bit harsh. But the other reason I didn't put it in amazing was that, yes, it was very good, and it did give you the option to give apartments, which obviously you hadn't had before at that point, and personally I've never used them because I just don't like the idea. But I do get that it is the reality of many people's lives and they did want them, and so I did think that was nice. But I just felt like some more lot types would have been nice with this pack. You did get a lot of new lot traits. You got a lot of lot traits with this pack, actually, which I thought was a really good thing. But I just felt like it would have been the perfect opportunity to put in some other kinds of places, even if they were rabbit holes. You know, they didn't have to freshen out or anything, but just some things like, because in a city, surely you have lots of, and it would have kind of made it so that there was some kind of advantage to living in a city as opposed to living in one of the other worlds, which there isn't at the moment. Because if you want to go anywhere, you just click, travel, let you go anywhere anyway. But I just felt like you could have had some places, so it would have been the perfect place to have things like, you know, hair salons and, you know, like, you know, beauty parlours, that kind of thing, and maybe some little things like that you could have just, it would have been really good if they then fleshed that out with some freelance careers that you could have as well. I know, but like, okay, that's asking too much maybe, but just some different kinds of places that you could send your Sims just for, you know, just for something to do. Okay, so jungle adventure and outdoor retreat, it's really hard to separate these because I constantly get them muddled up in my head, and I'm sure I'm not the only person who does this. But I both thought they were really good. In both cases, I just felt like, okay, maybe we could have done a weensy bit more with them. Just because once you kind of wander around in the forest and stuff in outdoor retreat, you kind of get bored because it's kind of exactly the same. It's like, oh, okay, it's some trees. It's nice, but I just felt like, oh, maybe, a few more plants and stuff, and, it would have been cool if a real bear had jumped out at you at some point, just something to liven up a bit. And then with Jungle Adventure, again, like, okay. I liked it, but one thing that kind of annoyed me was the amount of time you spend waiting for your sim to walk from one end of the screen to the other. You know what I mean. Like, you're on fast forward, but it's still kind of yes, can you go over here, please? Yes, it's a very long way away. And then, of course, if you're just like, okay, I've got to leave now because my sim is just totally knackered, or whatever, and you can't find a bush to nap it. I mean, you then have to bring them home, and then you've got to do it all again, I kind of wish there had been some shortcuts into it once you've gone to, or something, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it was good, but that was a few faults with it. So I kind of cheated. You may have noticed by now, well, I'm sure you have. I cheated a little bit. Realm of Magic and Vampires, I've both I stuck them in between. Amazing, I'm really good. Now, that is because they are probably my favourite worlds in terms of like the general aesthetics of them, and I mean, it may just be a slight bias because I just really like Occult Sims, but there is a problem with both of them, and it's basically the same problem, and it's one of size. Okay, so with Realm of Magic, you kind of get two worlds, don't you? So you get the world of Glimmerbrook, and it has 4 houses in it, just 4. Now, I don't have a problem with that by itself, because I feel like, to me anyway, spellcasters, they look like ordinary Sims, right? They basically behave like ordinary Sims, but they do magic. So I feel like they're kind of the sort of people who would generally, they would live in amongst other Sims. So they would live in one of the normal worlds. But then maybe they have a little place where they congregate outside the magical realm. That would make sense. So maybe that's, okay, a little place where just spellcasters live, but generally they would live in other places. And I just felt like, yeah, okay, I get that. I think that makes sense. So I didn't feel like they needed their own world. So I kind of felt like, okay, that's just a bonus. Glimmerbrook is like a little bonus. And I get, it's just a little small world, and I'm fine with that. But then we got onto the Realm of Magic itself. I thought it was beautiful. I really, really liked the aesthetic of it. I did feel like the building itself, the headquarters building, was dull, and I wish they'd have livened that up a little bit, but hey, it's The Sims, okay? You've got to judge it by comparing it to everything else. So, yeah, that was okay, but I loved everything else. I thought it was really, really gorgeous, and I really loved the kind of floating island. I loved it. But it was too small. And what I wish they had done was dispense with Glimmerbrook altogether and just spent all that time on building up the Realm of Magic instead. Because I like Glimmerbrook as a bonus, but I felt, okay, I wouldn't have been sorry if it didn't have that. But the actual Realm of Magic, you've got, your central quite nice, and then you go over to the dueling grounds, and there's literally nothing there, but okay, it's just for dueling. But then you've got like Caster's Alley, you think, oh wow, that sounds fun, and then you get there, and seriously, how many stalls are there? Is it 3 or 4? It's not many. The Magic Gardens was like my biggest disappointment, because I saw that and I went, oh wow, and I went over there. There's 2 magical plants growing there. 2 magical plants and a lemon tree or something, isn't it? There's this fabulous greenhouse. It's gorgeous, and you go over to it, and it doesn't even exist. You can't even go into it, let alone pick any plants in there. And I just thought, well, that's kind of dull. Vampires obviously came up with basically the same criticism. I thought Forgotten Hollow was one of the nicest worlds they've done in terms of, okay, you may not personally like it, it's not your thing, but I just thought it was so different, and it was really good. It was really well done. The Gothic manners I thought was fantastic, and I loved the way it really fitted the theme of the pack, the fact that you get less daylight there, so it's a perfect place for vampires to live. And I felt like, yeah, vampires would have somewhere where they live. I mean, you know, they could also choose to live among ordinary Sims, but they would have a separate place to live in. I like that. I thought that was really good. And then it had 4 lots in it. Just 4. I mean, you know, I just felt like when you spent that much effort in making something look that good, why would you want to say yourself so much? That was my opinion. So moving on to ones that I didn't especially like. Well, not so much that, but okay. Why did I put Del Sol Valley in? It's okay, well, okay. Again, not my thing. This is sort of, you know, into a bloody great city. I'm never gonna like that. But to me, it just wasn't. It just didn't grip me. One problem with it was I felt like, I mean, I never kind of set my Sims to live in it, to be honest. I don't really use it because I don't really like it, so yeah, I can't maybe comment as much as I should. But it's got kind of, you know, so many other worlds have a kind of like a zone for this and a zone for that, and in most of the worlds it's kind of a very clear progression that, okay, so your poor Sim starts off here, and then when they get more money they move there, and then when they get super rich they move there. Like, yeah, okay, I get that. And it's a little bit, you know, what's the word? Stylized almost, but anyway, I just felt like the way they did Del Sol Valley was there's a little area which is clearly designated for Sims who are just starting out as celebrities, and it's, you know, it's okay, but it's like, okay, that's a place, okay, that's where you live. Then it's got another area which is only for stars, and you need quite a high frame level to be able to go in any of the buildings there, and then that's it. I was expecting some middle ground, and there isn't any. So I mean, okay, I know it's pathetically easy to earn fame when you have Get Famous, so it won't take you long to get in the, like, oh, I can go for the posh bit now, but it just felt like a little bit, it felt like it was a bit endemic of that, really, in a way. It kind of fitted the theme of the pack. You are nobody, and then a week later, you are a mega celebrity. Yeah, okay. But it just felt a little bit, yeah, to me. Eco lifestyle. Okay, well, what was my problem with this? Okay, well, I'll tell you exactly what my problem with this was. When I first got this pack, it was a pack that I ummed and ahed about for ages because it's something that in real life I am super passionate about, and I wasn't really sure if I wanted it in my Sims, you know? I kind of felt almost like it was trivialising something really important. You know, oh, let's just click a few buttons and the world's all okay. But in the end I decided, no, I'm gonna get it. So I moved in to the, I think it was the okay neighbourhood. You know, there's like one terrible one, one nice one, and one okay one. Anyway, just to kind of to get to grips with how this pack works, okay, let's see where we are. There's rubbish all over the place, right? And I'm thinking, oh cool, can I start cleaning it up? No. It's just set dressing. You can't do anything with it. It just magically vanishes when you get your eco footprint up to whatever. Again, there were so many bins all over the place, but you can't actually look in them. I don't know why. It was all there was a serious lack of interaction with this world, and I know that's the case with all of them, but I just didn't think it was going to be with that one. The other problem with the world is that it is way too easy to improve the worlds. It's almost impossible to turn them into a kind of industrial hellhole. Again, Plumbilla did a good video on this, and you might say, well, why would you want to do that? That personally would be my opinion. I'm not quite sure why you'd want to, but hey, you know, you should have the option. But the point is that if it's so hard to sort of ruin the world, then it's not much of an achievement to improve it, is it? So I just felt like you could have done a lot more with the eco lifestyle. I you know, I liked it in some ways, but we needed more. Strangerville, okay, so my reason behind that was, again, I quite liked the world. The reason it slipped down into the It's Okay category is simply the fact that once you've done the Strangerville mystery, there is no option to then just live in the world without doing the mystery again if you're in it, like a, you know, you save or something. So, is it really a livable world? Well, not really, no. You live there to do the mystery, but once you've done that, you may not do that again. And it's just a pointless world that you're never going to use. So that was the problem. Okay, not the best. Well, Get to Work. Get to Work, I feel like, is the kind of pack that when you talk about it, you say, oh, why didn't it come with a world? Because you completely forgot that it did. Now I get that, okay, it's just kind of demonstrating the kind of retail aspect of it. Yes, but why is it so tiny? It's, what even is it, Magnolia? Is it Magnolia Promenade or something? Oh, I don't know. Yeah, that's how insignificant it is. I just felt like this would have been the perfect opportunity to do a bit more. Now I know this was more kind of focused on the gameplay elements, the active careers and so on, and introducing the retail system, so I kind of get. But why on earth does it not contain a proper shopping mall? You know, I feel like shopping malls are a pretty universal thing around most of the world we can relate to, and, you know, in some way or another, and I just feel like, you know, a proper shopping mall would have been nice. And also, why is there not like a hospital and like a science laboratory and a... I mean, I'm saying this, I haven't actually lived it for so long, there might actually be one and I'm talking nonsense, but... Well, there must be a hospital somewhere, mustn't there? Otherwise, where do you go when you... Oh, I don't even know. I might just be making this up. But the point is, I just felt like then it should have had some residential lots as well, so that like if you were playing a doctor, you could live by the hospital to make your life easier if you wanted to. I mean, I know the reality is you're going to click travel and just get there anyway because there's no open world, so I mean, yeah. But I just felt like it would have had a little bit of realism, and then we could have had some other little places, and also it would have been the perfect place to put an actual prison, functioning one, so that when you're playing the detective career and you arrest people, you don't then walk into them walking around the street the next day. So that was my thing about that. I just felt like, you know, this would have been an opportunity to do a lot more with it, and you didn't. And again, poor Jenny's Patio comes down here. Yes. I just don't like this pack. I don't own it. I have no intention of buying it. I'm not really going to go into why the world is not the best. I just feel like, obviously I haven't seen it myself. I'm basing this off every review video that I've seen, where it just consists of pointless shells and, well, just nothing, really. You know, maybe it could have been worse, but I just don't feel that it's got a lot to offer. Sorry. So yeah, that was my thing on that. So moving on to gameplay now. This is a little bit tricky. I have to rate this. This is not, you know, done in a vacuum. This is within the context of The Sims 4 now. I mean, a lot of people criticise the gameplay of The Sims, and rightly, yeah, fine. But like, in that case, don't play it. Play a different game. I have to judge every pack against every other pack, if that makes sense. So just because I've said something amazing doesn't mean I think it's necessarily amazing in terms of the whole universe of gameplay, kind of, but just compared to what we normally have in The Sims. Okay, if that makes sense. Or in The Sims 4, I should say, specifically. I am aware that many people prefer the older ones. I never really liked them myself, other than the very first one when I was a child, so I don't remember. I can't comment, but anyway. So, Get to Work. I have to say this was amazing. It kind of goes against my personal opinion because I don't particularly like the active careers that much, but in terms of adding something that we don't have otherwise, yes, there were other active careers came along later in the, obviously there's the active one and Get Famous, but like obviously Get to Work was released before then, so we have to judge it by what did it add to the game. Regardless of what you feel about active careers, they are something that we don't otherwise have, and therefore it adds a lot of new potential, and then it adds the retail system as well, and that adds a lot of gameplay that you would not otherwise have. So yeah, it got the amazing. Strangerville. Again, not everyone likes the Strangerville mystery. It's very different from other things, and it may not be your thing, but it's very different from everything else, and I thought, yeah, I can't really fault that. I think it adds something that you do not otherwise have to the game, and I like that. Vampires, I just thought the whole way the vampires were done was very good. With this little tree taking on the weaknesses as well, and something like that. You know, I just thought, well, I can't really fault that. I can't see what they would have done differently. So, most, as you can see, really good. Most of them came under that. Yeah. So in terms of what separated them out, obviously it may be a little unfair putting stuff packs in there. Stuff packs are not really meant to add to gameplay, but I just sort of put them in where I felt like, compared to what they should have done, did they do that? So in terms of what separates out the It's Okay ones, Island Living, no surprise there. In terms of gameplay, what did it add? Conservationist career was, yeah, okay, but really boring after a while. Mermaids, so dull. They look gorgeous. That rainbow tail, oh, it's gorgeous. But the problem with the mermaids is, I find if I'm playing a mermaid sim, I forget they're a mermaid. Sometimes I think, what the hell have they gone? And then, oh, that's them swimming out in the ocean. Oh yeah, I forgot that was a mermaid. You know, come on. We could have done more with that. Jungle Adventure, I know it probably surprised a lot of people. It actually surprised me that I actually put Outdoor Retreat above Jungle Adventure. Jungle Adventure feels like it's Outdoor Retreat, but more so. And yet when I actually thought about how often I actually use the gameplay of them, Outdoor Retreat added things like, you know, the stargazing, cloud gazing, so useful when you want to get yourself inspired for enough time to write a book, say. You also, I really like the herbalism skill. I do find it very boring building it up, but then I have mods to fix that, so it's okay. But with Jungle Adventure, I just felt like, with doing all the traps and everything, it should have added more to the game and didn't, because it gets very repetitive and you get bored. That was just my feeling, okay? Died Out, I felt like it would have been really good if it hadn't been so full of bugs. Now I know not everybody finds it has bugs, but to me, yeah. If a lot of people are complaining it has bugs, then that's not good. Even if you're not one of those people. Yeah. So, I would have said it was really good if it wasn't for that. If it worked perfectly, it might even be amazing, but it doesn't. Moschino stuff, that's supposed to add like the freelance photographer career. Now I know some people quite like that, but I just felt like it just didn't really add a lot. So all these other ones, what are these? Backyard. Is that backyard stuff? The glass? I think it is. What did that add? Fitness stuff, yeah, maybe like the earbuds thing, people like them, but you know, it adds the skill of rock climbing, doesn't it? But and again, we kind of get that in, I think it does anyway, but we get that in Snow Escape as well, so, well, anyway. And again, like kids room stuff, bowling stuff, yeah, they add some bits, all these bits. Spooky stuff as pumpkin carving, you get butlers and vintage glamour, but all these things are a little bit. And again, with the really good ones, there were faults. The just little things. I just felt like maybe could have been. They were good, but maybe could have just been a little bit more. In terms of what's not the best, okay, spa day. You can send your Sims to the spa, but that's it. Honestly, I think you would use it like once, and then I don't think I've used it again. I do like the way it adds the wellness skill, just because, and the only real reason is because I work as a herbalist, so I do kind of that stuff, and I like the way that it allows you to like meditation and yoga and stuff, which, I kind of do. So that was why, I suppose that's the only reason I got it, and I did get it as part of a bundle when it was in like half price sale as well. But yes, it does have some stuff like that you would also do at home, but it just, again, it's maybe a little bit unfair because it is spa day, that's the point of it. But then, if there just isn't enough within that pack, then should it even have been a pack? Again, Journey to Patio, I maybe been a little bit harsh because I've never played it myself, I don't have the pack, but it's just based on the reviews of the gameplay. There are so many criticisms of doing the missions, how terribly dull they are, and just, you get so bored with them. That's just the impression I've got from every review I've seen. So, that's why that is. Movie Hangout, I just can't see that it adds the ability to, even, it doesn't really add much to watching movies. I don't know why you watch movies with The Sims anyway, but it just doesn't seem to add a lot. in terms of like gameplay. Cool kitchen stuff. Yes, you can make ice cream, but couldn't we have done a little bit more? Had a few more things that you could make with it or something. Perfect patio. Well, it adds hot tubs. That's the kind of gameplay it adds. Except it doesn't, because we have a hot tub in the base game now. So, luxury party. Well, okay, you can have a luxury party, but you could have had one of those anyway. Yeah, it could have done more. And toddler staff as well. I just felt like you could have done so much more with that. You know, one of the fun things about, you know, you have toddlers, they have like toys, right? I mean, in real life, I do not like children. I'm just not a children person. But even I like looking at kids' toys, like, oh, that's so cool. Oh, that's so fun. I want one. So yeah, I just felt like most of it was just redesign stuff from the base game. And then for new stuff, we get a ball pit. The less said about that, the better. It was nice to have something a bit different, but yeah. So again, I just felt like I didn't think any of them were terrible in the context of The Sims 4. I just felt like, yeah, there was a little bit lacking in some of these. Where we get the real problem is replay value, and maybe it's a little bit harsh because you've got to, you know, go with what, you know, again, in the context of the game, but I'm sorry, I couldn't put a single one in amazing for replay value because I just don't think they do have it. For really good, cats and dogs, that was about, you know, those are the ones that are about as good as it gets for The Sims 4. Cats and dogs, I mean, what? My problem with that is that they basically all behave the same. There isn't enough variety. Traits are just not good enough for cats and dogs any more than they are for humans. But at least, you know, there's lots of different cats and dogs that you can have and stuff, and who doesn't like, I mean, who's going to get bored of having cats and dogs and stuff in their game? So, I mean, I do like that. I liked, you know, so it does have some replay value. The university, I thought was pretty cool simply because, yes, it would get a bit repetitive after a while. I don't know how often you'd want to send your Sims to university, but because it's a bit of a challenge, you know, actually getting all your term papers and stuff in is actually a challenge. So I feel like, yes, there is some replay. I feel like I could see you doing it again, kind of thing. Get together, the club system is really good. Because there's a lot you can do with it if you make your own clubs. I mean, it's the sort of thing that I find I don't use very often, to be honest, but I probably should use it more. I do think that, yes, that has replay value because you can make lots of different clubs, so you can cause chaos with it, and that's good. Seasons, I feel, yeah. As I say, don't personally have it myself. I would like to have it for the calendar system that you have, creating holidays and stuff. But if you could turn off the weather, I would have it. I would just buy it for the calendar. Kind of, I feel like that does add a lot of replay value. But yeah. Parenthood, again, this is a pack I don't have because I don't want my Sims having trouble parenting. Refer to my earlier comment about not liking children, but I do think it is really good because, as far as I can tell from reviews, building up the character values and stuff is actually quite hard. So again, there is some replay value in that. And Tiny Living, I might get this pack. I don't have this pack. I don't have all the packs that most people really like, but I might buy this one sometime. Maybe get this one on price sale because I'm tight, so I only buy them when they're in half price sale. But yeah, I do feel like if you put the tiny home lot tray on, as I understand it, that does add quite a lot of bonuses and stuff to you, so I feel like there is some replay value in that. For the It's Okay, well, as you can see, I pretty much put everything in there, because I do find that they do get boring because they're always the same. The ones that got even more marked out, as I said, I don't think we need to go over to Journey to Patio again. No, we definitely don't need to go over there. No, we don't need to go over it again. As I say, based on the reviews, everyone seemed to agree that the gameplay was pretty terrible to start with and absolutely terrible in terms of replay value. So that was that. Not the best island living, again, because the mermaids get boring. The conservationist career, which you get with it, it's just like all the other careers. It's exactly bleeding the same and it gets boring. So, again, the gameplay I thought was okay. and then replay value, meh. The same as Spa Day. Spa Day, I didn't think was very thrilling to start with, so obviously doesn't have the replay value. With Dine Out, again, because it was so buggy, because it's so terrible, running a restaurant gets irritating, and then taking your Sims to a restaurant while they starve to death whilst waiting for their food, I mean, yeah. Moschino stuff, again, I just didn't see what that added. Movies, yeah, I just didn't really. Again, with the toddler stuff, it doesn't really have anything. Perfect Patio, Luxury Party, I mean, nah. That was my opinion of a lot of them, really. So yeah, I think we'll move on from that. A little fun thing I then did, just purely for my own amusement, was looking about how often do I actually use these packs, specifically for expansion and game packs, thinking of the gameplay. And this was just, I did it was a little survey I did of my own games over a little while. I did this. How often do I actually use these? And I came up with some surprising results. Spooky stuff from my first pack I actually use in most games, because I almost always use the kids furniture in my first pack if I'm playing a game with kids in, which I usually do. I don't like kids, but in The Sims they're kind of fun. Spooky stuff, I always flipping use this because I always give them some comedy ghost wallpaper or something like that, just for a laugh. City living, strangely enough, I mean, I have never had Sims live in there because I couldn't stand being there, but whenever the festivals come up, something that really, really surprised me, because I kind of thought, nah, that's social events, oh, that's horrible, don't like them in The Sims. But every time a festival comes up, I find myself going to it, and yeah, strange. So again, Story Escape I would often use because of that. Again, the festivals I do like, and yeah, I've used it made it a little bit complex. I've only very recently bought Snowy Escape, so I'm playing with it a bit more often than maybe I will later on. Get famous, well, the fame system kind of uses itself, doesn't it? I mean, you sell a painting and suddenly you're famous. But I do make use of it, and I do make use of, the filming stuff, to do videos and stuff like that. Island living, sometimes. I rarely let my Sims live on Sulani, but, only occasionally, but I do sometimes pop over there just go on the beach. Get together, again, I sometimes use the hubs, Don't adventure an outdoor retreat, again, I will sometimes use the kids' room stuff, yeah, if I'm playing with kids, I will sometimes put a void critter station in or something. Eco lifestyle, again, is one of those, I never really use that kind of integrated with other packs, but occasionally go in there. Realm of Magic I used to play all the flipping time, but, yeah, sometimes I do it. I almost never use the stuff from Toddler Staff, Luxury Party, Backyard stuff, I just hardly ever use them. Cats and Dogs, Get to Work, and Vampires, really surprising. I love those packs. Well, okay, I love Cats and Dogs and Vampires. Get to Work. Let's go. I used to use them all the time, and now I don't. Spa Day and Nifty Knitting, yeah. I use the, build buy items, or for, yeah. What do I use for Spa Day? Oh yeah, no, I do sometimes. I suppose I use the fish things, but mostly it's cast items I might use. But that's kind of it. And yeah, some of the never used ones are simply because I'm going to use them. I really am. I haven't got around to it yet. And there's the ones I don't own as well. So I did combine all these scores to get an average. It's my average thing. And then I added, this was taking out my first impression one and the one about how often I use it. And if you include that, you get this version. Yeah, it's kind of a bit meaningless really by the time you average the scores, but I just thought I'd do it anyway. So yeah, so that is my 2 pennies worth. 2 pennies worth. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, thank you for listening to me waffling for so long, if you're still here, and see you in the next one.